Les amis Team Legliz TV moi nous porter une autre nouvelle show pour nous aujourd'hui à Bagay yo dans etazini a vinn pe exagérer chaque jour quand on pense en sécurité c'est la même qui tourne en danger. Jeudi à qui c'est 28 septembre 2025 là depuis dans matin un gros tragédie frappé une communauté religieuse balle pété dife levé et nous porter tout détail pour nous ensemble avec parole prophétique qui te gen annoncé bagay ça déjà. Et bien Team Legliz TV moi yo bon ba nous détail là pour nous capter bien comprendre ba yo dans bon petit mamite. Dimanche 28 septembre 2025 là internet la show avec un gros événement qui rive dans Grand Blanc, Township, Michigan, à peu près 10 h matin, c'est dans l'église of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saint-Fusillade à de la fête. Plusieurs moun arrivé plaisir. Pendant au tapado et bon Dieu, l'église ali même n'y arrivé prendre dife pendant service dimanche ça ta fête. Et la police Grand Blanc fait qu'on est sur réseaux sociaux qui est monde qui t'a tiré à down, li neutraliser et puis pas de menace qui continue pour public là encore. Et jusqu'à présent, yo pas ko bay quantité monde qui arrivé blessé ni gravité blessé. Et chef la police J.N.C. qui c'est Christophe, il déclaré que dans une vidéo toute l'église la prend dife, yo t'est arrivé évacuer tout le monde. Et autorité fédérale ak l'État déjà travaille avec la police locale pour gérer crise là. Mais pendant n'a parlé là tout Team Legliz TV moi nous gen prédiction profetèz célestial qui vient viral sur tout réseau. Côté profetèz célestial, t'es déjà parlé sous ça, il te dit États-Unis pour faire face à attaque dans place qui pisse. Même l'église parce que nation viré Dubaï bon Dieu, il te averti que dans pays États-Unis quand on pense en sécurité c'est là danger à privé. Il te parlé tout sous moment ça côté monde pour faire sacrifice dans place yo t'a pas doré et puis peuple bon Dieu a dû veiller. Et fusillade ça, li vinn comme nous l'autre confirmation dans série vision. Profetèz célestial te bay déjà, il te dit tout la guerre division, avec sa violence pour l'entrer dans tout niveau la vie américaine, même dans l'église l'église a vinn tourner symbole côté ça couler sous l'autel parce que nation pas repenti. Et nous tout cas ouais, fusillade Grand Blanc, fusillade qui passe c'est un exemple direct de saleté predi. Côté moun réuni pour la prière vinn tourner scène la terre. Et célestial te annonce que nation pas bien protection bon Dieu encore parce que au lever l'autel méchant au lieu de l'hôtel Seigneur. Il t'explique que c'est peut-être ça quand on pense en sécurité c'est là que yo vinn plus dangereux parce que bon Dieu retire même son nation. Et profetèz a te parlé sur la guerre civile dans Amérique qui pral plus méchant parce que Libéria ak Sierra Leone. Zak violence pral sans pitié, violence publique, bully, zak massacre. Et en pile monde comprendre fusillade ak dife dans l'église. C'est signe que yo commence à entrer dans réalité ça veut dire bagay yo a venir vraiment. Et profetèz a te averti que bon Dieu pral juger Amérique parce que dans tout dossier c'est l'accusation c'est péché. Il déclare que la vie confortable yote kon gen a disparaître travail yo sécurité ou même famille yo a venir victime. Profetèz a fait connaître que bon Dieu pral diverser, retirer tout ça yo gen pour faire ouais c'est lui même qui souverain. Il te fait connaître croyant yo doit préparer yo pour souffrance sans pareil dans l'histoire de l'humanité. C'est le fait connaître que ça c'est un temps pour repentir la prière à créer coller avec bon Dieu parce que tribunal ça l'a venir pour tout le monde. Croyant, incroyant, monde qui passer parole bon Dieu dans bêtise. Mais Team Legliz TV moi nous pas parler trop pour plus de détails bamba nous entendez profetèz célestial bamba nous entendez.
I cannot stress to you enough that you are in a corridor of time that is not going to wait for you. Despite all the unjust accusations of being a liar, of being someone who speaks doom and gloom, someone who just appointed herself, God never sent her to rain on our parade, someone who is a fearmonger, I am telling you that what Russia and China are going to do in this country and what the civil war of America is going to do in this country will introduce the people of this nation, believer and non-believer, mockers and scoffers, and those who truly have heard the word of the Lord. We will be introduced into a level of suffering that is unprecedented in human history. And the reason for that is because the American war will not only be like the Liberian Civil War, God says that it will be worse. And that war is one of the most brutal on record. The conflict in Sierra Leone is one of the most brutal wars on record. It featured elements of extreme, extended, expansive, widespread. It featured highly publicized incidences of cannibalism. It featured, please hear God, because God brought to mind 2 instances of American wickedness during the time period of that war. God brought it to my mind that America made 2 highly mocking movies about that war. We come to September 2025, where the leader of this nation went to the United Nations and basically cursed everyone to their face and heated up the entire international community to such a level that the rest of the time after his departure was everybody letting this nation know how they felt from their inner belly, fulfilling so many prophecies. I said, we will make enemies that we cannot handle, and America will have so many enemies, I said. And one aspect I said is that from the greatest to the lowliest will hate her. In that room, the greatest to the lowliest were gathered. And from the greatest to the lowliest, they not only condemned her, but they turned their back and walked out on her so-called biggest bedfellow, Israel. In one day, I saw tons of Master's Voice prophecies fulfilled. That America will be ignored when she's talking, that people will disengage from her, that they will not have any interest in what she's saying, for the president to stand and tell a whole host of nations, you don't know how to govern yourselves. You're too full of black and brown people. That's why your countries are a total mess. You see me? I'm really good at this stuff. I know how to handle them. He's making an open reference to the fact that he is basically practicing open racial discrimination. Open, he's not bothering to hide it. That's why we have a climate of greatly empowered racists in America at this moment. He is openly profiled. If I see you and you don't match what is now the new America, we're going to drag you out. And that particular policy is going to become effective. The Lord said it to me, I think on Friday night as I was about to fall asleep. He said to me, this that you've said in that Israel prophecy, the prophecy about the little brown book, where I said, that black people in this country, that true Israel in this country needs to be careful because the policies that are coming down are going to mirror the civil rights era. But I was thinking that it would happen informally. The Lord said to me before I slept, he said, oh no, these things are going to be formalized into law. The things that I was talking about, the discrimination, that, oh, you will be again the bottom of the pile with work. And then again, you will be told in your face when they're formalized, we don't hire black. We don't hire black at all. I'm so sorry you can't work here. And nobody will stop them. Absolutely nobody will stop them, because America is a land where apparently the people in the land don't understand what the Constitution is for. And so they're fully saying, training the algorithm, pressing the button. Yes, 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 we like that. The people in the country are saying that if a company makes a policy, the policy is higher than the Constitution. It doesn't matter if if it breaks the Constitution on race division. It doesn't matter if it breaks the Constitution on discrimination, that no one shall be discriminated because of their sex, because of their religious beliefs. It breaks the Constitution on skin color. It breaks the 13th Amendment. It breaks so many things. But people are saying, oh no, but a company, your employer has the right to let you go if you post things on social media that they don't like, which just goes to show you that we have books in the school, but the books are taped shut, and then they're all kept in the basement, and then the kids are only given tablets, because there's no way to explain why a population thinks that that is okay. Nothing is higher than a nation's constitution, but people are saying that corporations and what the corporations want is higher. And so one day the corporations will say no black, no Mexican, no this, no that, and it will be codified law, which will only leave the fields. That man is preparing the fields for somebody, if you needed somebody to tell you. They're not expecting for the country not to be agriculturally productive. If they're pushing away the people who have fully agreed to do that work, you do know that America's still going to grow corn and tobacco and strawberries and everything that Jeff Bezos and his family need to eat. And they know who they're planning to send out there. So this is all part of what feeds into this message that the Lord was laying on my heart. This thing was so strong that I actually thank God that I have my composure together, because as he was speaking to me, I did not have it together. And he was asking, what if you were warned? What if somebody told you ahead of time what was coming? What if you had a window that allowed you to look into the future? He was asking me, would you sit there? Would you sit there and have conversations like, that won't happen because we have the Constitution? So many people said that to me between the years 2019. But now we are in the beast system prophecies. The exact level of oppression, discrimination, and a very much faster push that was prophesied to take place under a Kamala Harris regime. I was told between 2019, when I started, and 2024, that America could never be what I said. The question was how? How? Remember, I started this video telling you that the human mind is almost compelled to make sense of the circumstances it finds itself in. And right now, all the people in America who don't watch the Master's Voice keep asking, how is this happening? How is this happening? They feel giddy. They feel drunk. They feel nauseous and sick because the merry-go-round is spinning so fast and they don't understand where the constitutional lawyers at. Where's the courts? Where's the this? Where's the that? Where is anybody to stop this? But you were told that you were going to get a very vicious, fast moving lightning executive that would strike and strike and strike and strike and strike until America was dead. I was always told that it could never happen. Barack can never come back because of the Constitution. Can you then explain to me why Steve Bannon, since this administration started in January, why Steve Bannon has appeared on at least 3 to 4 podcasts telling Americans that when the dust of an election settles in January 2029, America will see President Donald Trump for the 3rd time. And he says it without cracking a smile. There's no jest. There's no suggestion that it's tongue in cheek, that he's just messing around. Every time the interviewer hearing him says that looks at him like, surely you can't be serious, he says. And we have the Constitution. Mr. Bannon replies, we do have the Constitution, but the president has his powers. And then he says, the Constitution doesn't apply until it's been interpreted. Now, to the thinking person, the Constitution has been interpreted already. It's been argued over and haggled over in a ton of cases. One would think there's not a spare inch to argue that nobody is going to hold office more than twice. But the American people are being told by a power very high up in the throne, a man back in favor, apparently, looking in our faces and telling us that at the end of a 2028 election, January 2029 is going to show us Donald Trump in all his 80-something-year-old glory. So clearly then, the Constitution has become what was prophesied to his nation. God is going to divest America of everything forcibly, including the land she lives in. And Yah was telling me that to those who survive, those who make it out, he says, for the rest of your lives, the way that people relentlessly question Sierra Leoneans and relentlessly question Liberians, what are you doing here? What happened in your country? What went wrong? He said, it will be your cross for the rest of your life to say that your nation was destroyed, utterly destroyed on account of its. Yah wanted the people in America to know that he is the one who judged America, and that the core of America's malfeasance, America's greatest crime, the only word written on her rap sheet when he brought her into the courtroom to tell her that I'm about to charge you with something, and then I'm going to put you to the test, I'm going to put you to the trial, and I'm going to convict you, and the finding that I'm going to find on you is guilty. The only charge on the American rap sheet is sin. On this blog, there are over 830 prophecies, and all the 830 prophecies are the voice of God telling America, you have sinned here, and you have failed me here, and you have departed from me here, and you have allowed this, and you have embraced that, and you have behaved this way, and you have exalted that, and you have put down this worthy thing, and exalted a filthy thing, and you have worshipped this, and you have absolutely destroyed all my altars, you have scattered my messengers, you have tried to tear down the walls of my tabernacle in your nation. And so for that, I am going to see to it that you do not have a nation. I am going to scatter you from these shores. I am going to divest you of your holdings. To divest someone of their holdings basically means when the person is doing it, it means that the person has a portfolio that is pretty healthy and pretty heavy, but it's diversified into stocks and bonds and all types of other things. And they want to let go of some of that stuff because they want liquid cash. They want to let go of some of the stuff that they have because they're trying to get some liquidity in their hands. So they're willing to give up equity. They're willing to give up stocks in businesses. They're willing to give up shares. They're willing to give up I don't know, derivatives, futures, bonds, whatever it is that people buy, their various investments, they're willing to liquidate a portion of that so that they can have ready cash. That's what it means to be divested of your holdings. When you do it, there's no problem. It means that you've applied your mind. You will definitely have a plan. If you're your own financial advisor or the financial advisor of your family, you're going to have a plan for how you do it. You're going to have a time period that you're going to do it over so that your boat doesn't rock. And then you're going to take what you have decided to let go in exchange for what you need. And then you're going to go about your merry way. But when God divests you of your things, a lot of people on the personal level, you will remember being divested by God as a very challenging time in your life in which either you had a shocking amount of family members pass away. These people who were a blessing, or some of them may have been a difficulty, even a curse. These people usually would have left your life in rapid succession, like boom, boom, or boom, 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 or boom, 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 boom. You might have had 2 deaths. You might have had 3 deaths. You might have had 5 deaths as your family was divested of members. For some people, you may have lost a job that was basically keeping your life in a very comfortable place. Usually the kind of place where, though people don't like to admit it, they forget about God, they minimize their walk with God, they begin to be neglectful in the time that they spend with God. They begin to have this idea that creeps into the minds of many successful people, from low successful, medium successful, and especially the high successful people. They begin to have this unbelievable idea that they might have had something to do with their success. They will begin to rationalize all the favor, all the gifting, all the grace that God showed them, the way he opened doors, the way he connected them to powerful people, the way that when they only used to sit at their old level and I wish I had a chance at management. I wish that there was just a situation. I'm not wishing evil on my supervisor, but I wish that there was just a way that this woman would not be around for about 3 weeks where I could showcase what I can do. I feel that she's a blocker. I feel like she's like a sun that stands in the way. And even though I'm not a mushroom, I'm still a smaller bush than her. And because she's taller, she's always shining, casting a shadow on me, and the higher ups can't see me. I think that I can do what she can do, or I can even do it better. And I'm not wishing her evil, but I just wish there was an opportunity where something would flow directly to me. And if it flowed directly to me, God, I would be so faithful. These are the things that people tell God in their prayer time when it comes to their economic future, their hope to get into a particular university, their hope to be chosen for the national team, to play soccer, to wrestle for the national team, to run for the national team, to make the Olympics, whatever it is. There are many desires that people hold in their heart. But then when the Lord is faithful and he feeds into that desire, the headiness of the high place has people acting as if it's a good thing when that opportunity came along, I was ready. They downplay so many of the subtle markers that God has to put in place for you and I to get blessed. People start to act as if they had something to do with their blessedness. And when God can see the human heart with different patches of fungus in it, caused by the slow creeping action of pride. Pride can be so slow and so creeping. When he starts to see the fungus of pride, the fungus of equivocation, whereby the person begins to equate themselves like God is one curve to success, but then the person themselves is the other curve to success. Like, God did this part, but it's a good thing that I was able to catch the curveball that he sent me, forgetting about all the unseen benefits, like how God will work in the heart of the person who becomes your donor, the person who becomes your benefactor, the person who decides to shoulder the bill to send you to college when your family can't afford it, the person who looked at the way you were arrayed at college and looked at the way you were struggling but saw something in you and just basically came to tell you, you know what, I can see that you would be fantastic in this and this and that, but I have to tell you, the rich kids are not going to accept you as you are. Come hang with me. You're new to town. I'm going to show you where to buy your clothes. I'm going to show you where to get the preppy outfits for a lot less. And that person basically walks you through your period of awkwardness. And then when you get in with the set where you wanted to get a tennis scholarship, or you wanted to meet the person's dad because the person's dad was doing something, when you get in, the person who then arrayed you, when they speak to you, you start doing this eeny, meeny, miny, mo in your mind, like, oh, you know, I'm really grateful to you, but the thing is that, you know, we don't quite look the same, and when they see me hanging with you, they might reject me. How the human heart works is always in deception, and it never fails to amaze me how the last person that a deceived person looks at is themselves. And that is the ailment that is afflicting the entire United States. Save a few people who are starting to come under the large leaf of the Lord to protect themselves and to restore right thinking to them from the acid rain of the lies that constantly fall in this nation. And so when God starts to see the white fungus of equivocation, like, God help, but I was no slouch either, when at the bottom, all you were was pleading, all you were was asking, all you were was just asking for a shot over and over. You kept asking God, give me a shot. You promised faithfulness that when you got up there, the devil made sure to start telling you, what's a guy like you being faithful for? Let them hang out with the all-night prayers at the church, That merger is due tomorrow. Books don't balance themselves, Gerald. And then you started shrugging and you started doing the rest and the rest and the rest. When God sees you like that, he will divest you of the thing that you prayed for. He will just bloop it from under you, and he will show you that there's no such thing as God sent me the opportunity. But I did pretty well too, because the same way he sent you the opportunity by his sovereign self, and all you had to do was scooch onto it and sit like Daniel and be faithful. People do not know that when God gives you an opportunity and you are faithful at that level, all you have to do is sit and keep your eyes on him, and he will keep raising and raising and raising and raising you up. Promotion with God is an effortless elevator. You're going to have your haters and you're going to be attacked at every level. But if you are resting in the Lord in quietness and confidence, that elevator is going to continually keep going up without too much need for wrestling and rolling all around in competition and all the striving that we get into. But the minute your heart starts to show the white fungus of, well, I'm pretty great, it's going to divest you, and it's going to be like boom, 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 and you're going to find that elevator dropping floor by floor by floor. And as you grasp, all you're going to do on your plummet to the bottom is tear your nails to shreds.
En tous les cas, tête chargée bagay yo, un pile problème pas fini. Communauté grand blanc, côté bizak la rive fête là, côté fusillade la fête là. Tout le monde chouchouk. Cependant, peuple là, t'a fait service dimanche. Bagay ça arrive, vidéo montre la fumée ak dife pendant mon ap kouri sorti quitter l'église. Et moun qui dans zone nan, yo fait connait que yo pas jamais penser on bagay comme ça t'a privé dans ville yo. Mais sur réseaux sociaux, en pile mon ap demandé est-ce que c'est fin temps? Est-ce que c'est prophétie qu'a pas accompli? Et pas oublier que dans semaine qui sont passé, yo te gen pile l'autre attaque dans l'école, dans marché, dans place publique. En tout cas, ça montre nous qui gens États-Unis vinn plus fragile. N'importe côté, Kavin scène tragédie, pourquoi un lui même ni c'est un appel pour veiller ak prier pour prendre sécurité spirituelle plus sérieux. Et pour moun qui pas quoi, il montre que la société a tombé dans un climat la péreuse. Et profetèz célestial lui-même, il te dit n'a pas entré dans une époque la guerre civile a gros des autres et événements ça c'est signal. En tout cas, Team Legliz TV moi aux nouvelles ça yo pas douce du tout. Yo l'église boulé plusieurs monde blessé peuple là dans choc, mais c'est un signal pour nous tous rester vigilants, pour rester dans la prière et puis comprendre temps à vivre là. Célestial te gen temps pour dire tout moment ça en tous les cas tête chargé bagay un peu problème pas fini. C'était important pour me venir partager nouvelles ensemble avec nous. En tous les cas tête chargé bagay un peu problème pas fini. On continue merci toute belle Team Legliz TV qui toujours là pour supporter travail ça, qui toujours là pour bailler love you, qui toujours là pour partager vidéo mais à chaque fois moi poster Team Legliz TV moi big up pour nous moi mais nous en pile et nous même tout qui prend la peine tomber sur plateforme ça qui c'est Legliz TV n'a pas invité venir une belle team ça qui c'est belle Team Legliz TV parce que nous va aider tout ça qui actualité. Abonnez à page follow page pour nous toujours courant de tout ça qui passe Team Legliz TV moi bisous nous. Oh, il y a quoi ça, c'est moi, il y a quoi ça.